What up, you amazing hackers? It's your boy, the humble hacker from Chi-Town, Shy Ronin, back with another module for my penetration testing course. In this module, we are going over SMB. We all we got! Sorry, New Jack City reference there. Alright, so in this one, we're going to be learning about what SMB is, how it works, and how we can enumerate it. And here we go. Now, what, pray tell, the fork is SMB? Well, let's figure that out. SMB stands for Server Message Block. This is basically a communication protocol that provides shared access to folders, files, and serial ports, and these operate on two ports, 139 and 445. The best way to describe it is to think of it like you having two PO boxes that are yours. In these PO boxes, you're going to have all of your stuff in them. You're going to have the keys for them to be able to open them, but you cannot access any other key in that post office. Kind of common sense there, because none of those are ours. From an attacker's perspective, we would focus on the ones that are not ours. What can we see? Can we interact with them? Can we list any contents? Can we find any files or anything like that? This is what we as an attacker would do. We can clearly see the boxes, but since they're not ours, we can't open them or see what's in them. Now here's a little example of what the output of an SMB server would look like. Here, this is using Metasploitable as an example here, using the program SMB Map. Here we're specifying the username, the password, capital H for the host, and here we have our list. Now, how do we know what shares we can access versus we can't? And that is by one simple symbol. Dollar bill, y'all! So, as we see, everything that has a $sign in it are going to be shares that we cannot access. As we see, this only has read-only. Can't put any files or manipulate any files in it. For the temp folder, we do have read and write access. For this OPT, we have read-only. This will operate similarly to this one. We can only see what's in it, but can't really do much else. And as we see, the dollar signs, no access at all. And this share down here does have read and write access. So, by first look, we can immediately tell that this share and this share are shares that we're able to actually access. Now, there is no guarantee that anything will be in these shares, okay? So just because they're open doesn't mean it will immediately find whatever in them. However, I will say this though, in terms of CTFs, we will most likely find something that'll give us a hint in order to proceed in attacking our target. So it's okay to see open shares when it comes to capture the flag events. Now, an actual target should either not have anything related to those two ports open, or shouldn't have any access from an outside source at all. Think of it like ordering pizza with your door both unlocked and wide open. Wait, if the door is open, wouldn't that mean that it's unlocked? Not all the time. Maybe it has a screen door too, and you have that thing wide open. Let flies all in your house and all this other crap. Now, we order food, and we know that this delivery person is going to need access to our home in order to deliver the pizza. We have both our doors wide open. This will not stop an attacker's watery mouth from going, ooh, your door's open? Time to go steal it. So it's best practice to always have a SMB share secured. Now, what tools can we use to enumerate it? Well, thank you for asking, because there are a lot. We have Rpc Client, we have SMB Map, we have SMB Client, Enum for Linux, and we have NMAP. Now for NMAP, I'm referring to the NSE, NMAP scripting engine. Let's go to the next slide before I stutter some more. So, with NMAP, we can do two things. One, we can run a regular NMAP scan specifying these two ports, 139 and 445. This is separated by a comma. I need to fix that. Shame on you. And we can use the SV to enumerate the version, and the SC to use safe scripts. This is going to specifically just scan these two ports safely. You can also, as I was mentioning in the previous slide, use the Nmap scripting engine to use with the default SMB scripts that are in the Nmap scripts folder. Now, let's start with our demo. So, our first one is going to be here. So here is basically just a regular scan here. I have two different targets. I have one virtual machine, and this target here is from the Try Hack Me Room Attactive Directory. Now, what are we doing? So let's run regular Nmap. Let's enumerate the version. Run SC right there. Specify the port 139.445. Enter. Okay, same thing here. -P 139.445 -SC and enter. Now what these will do, per the previous slide again, is going to enumerate the version of the software that's running on these two ports. Then it's going to use save scripts to run and see if it can get any more like data to enumerate and print out the results there. So here we see that it did, like we specified, only these two ports. So it only gave us these in a response. Showed what type of SMB server is running, which is the Samba. And the safe scripts that it used was OS directory, security mode, and time, which really doesn't tell us much of anything. Same thing for this response too, it only did security mode and time. So this is not really giving us detailed information. Let's move over to the next tab here. And here, I tried to run with the wildcard star, but that took way too damn long. So I stopped it, and I just went specific and just used the vuln scripts here. So let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about this setup right here. This has also been included in my vulnerability scanning module as well. So we call the NSC scripting engine by using -- script equals. We go and we put in which one that we want to use. Let me just ls here. So what script do we want to run from these here? We are using SMB. That's why we have our grep SMB right here. And we're specifying what modules that we want to use. SMB dash. Now for here, I use -vuln wildcard. So everything that is from here down to here are going to be ran and scanned against the target. Now, as we've seen from the end results, that this host is not vulnerable to MS-1054, not vulnerable to MS-1061, but is potentially vulnerable to register service here. So this is very good information that we can look at and potentially use to exploit this machine. Now from here, we did not get any responses. It only got results from these two right here, which this doesn't work and could not connect, therefore it generated an error. So that is our NSE. Now, let's go over to the next one. Enum for Linux. This one is my favorite because this will dump everything. And this can either be ran on its own with Enum for Linux in the IP address, or with the all enumeration flag -A. And it's ran by calling the application. Since it's case sensitive, this is going to be lowercase, and specifying our IP address, and we run it. So what it'll enumerate are RIDs, user listings, enumerate the shares. It'll detect if the host is either a work group or part of a domain. It'll print out password policies and all down that line. So let us go through another example of using this here. Let's go ahead and split this in half. I'm going to use the virtual machine IP address so it will be a lot faster here. Actually, no, I'll use both. Sorry. So we're going to call this application Enum, not Enume, for Linux. So let's run that. Take this here, copy that. All right. The reason why I'm doing this on both is because I want you to be able to see the difference between the output from a Linux system versus a Windows system. So it's not going to be the same. There's going to be a lot different. Now, right off the rip, when this started, it pulled up target information. It determined if it was a workgroup or a domain. Couldn't find it. Checked out NBT stat information, session check, and all the way down to here. Here, we see an available share that we can access. Remember, if we see the $, we cannot touch it unless we are legit users. So since we are not legit users, the only thing that we can interact with is going to be this share right here. Scroll down, going to show our password policies. So if we want to use Hydra or Burp in order to password crack, we would see the minimum password length starting at 5 and then going up from there. So instead of trying to figure out should we just start at 1 digit, this will tell you where we should start at. Now, this is not going to use Rpc Client because this is a Linux system. And then now we're going to go through some more of our results here. And this is another great thing because this also is very efficient at showing us users that we can work with without really having to touch the system that much. So as we see here, this is going through, this is trying to dig like for user information here. And it found one, which is this one. Scam site. I'm going to be doing the video for this box on shortly, but it found an actual local user under this name, and it'll go down and try to look for see if it finds anything else. And then when it does not find anything else, it'll start listing all of the default accounts and groups on the system, like admin, print spooler, and things of that nature. That's going to be right here for the built-in accounts: the administrator account, the built-in user account, built-in guest account, power users, account operators, server operators, print operators. Woo! That was a lot. That was fast. Okay, so this is basically everything that we're going to need from this particular output. So we have our so from top down, the main things that we're going to be looking at is what shares were found, password policy, and what users were detected in this output. Those are the three main ones that we want to look for. So we go over here, go ahead and scroll it on down. So far, this does not have any shares that we can access, but yes, still has both of those ports open. And looking through here, do not see really any users local on system here that we can take advantage of, or actually, here's one. Not that one. Not that one either. This one. Here's an available user that we can utilize. So this is basically what we have in terms of output. Now let's look at what the -A. Okay, let's go ahead and close this out. Run this one with the -A now and see what we get from there. So we're going to, in this, the -A uses all forms of enumeration on a target there. So what this will do, this will go through all of its modules and pull out even more detailed data off from the system here. So let's go from the top. Okay, we have a little bit more detailed information as far as the operating system here. We have our share there. We have, and we see if we can interact with them. Here, obviously it's denied. Here, obviously it's okay. So this is different from what we originally saw. We did not see this output here under the regular scan there. So this is basically saying we can both map it and connect to it, but not to the IPC or print. All right, still going down here, still going to get the same information for what users are available. These are ones that we don't, these are all built in, ones that we can't really touch. And let's see if we found that other user again. Looks like we have work group name, but there's nothing assigned to that, so we don't need to worry about that part. And yep, we still have our user that we detected. So that is the overall gist of utilizing Enum for Linux. Now let's go to our next one, SMB Client. What this is basically doing is, or what this application does, we're going past the enumeration phase and getting more into the active reconnaissance phase. What this application does is it lets us both list the available shares on a target, also attempt to connect to them, either with no login information, or if we do have login information, you can use that to connect to the target. So let's go over to our example system again. We have our SMB. I'm not going to do it on Windows because it did not have any shares that we can interact with. So, client, no. IENT, there. We're going to use the -L switch, which is to list. Let's go ahead and find that just so everybody can follow along. The -L, which is to list, which is what I just mentioned. Now, we're going to enter in the IP address. End it with a couple more slashes there if we don't have a password. So now we've listed what's all there. Now, I cannot off the top of my head remember why there's so many slashes for it, but I do know that it's required for the application to work. Totally forgot why. If you know, please leave that info in the description. I can leave a comment. Sorry, on the video. Awesome sauce. Let's keep it moving. So now that we see that we have this share open, we can attempt to connect to it. And how do we do that? Remove this L because we're not listing anything. We're actually interacting with something. And enter in the share name, web server. We don't have a password, but we were able to get access to it. So since this is a Linux box, we're going to use Linux commands in order to see what's in it. And here, we're able to list the contents, and we have a file here called enter.txt. Now, also, we can grab this file by simply just using the get command, just so I can show you where it's at. Enter in help. Get will download the file from the target to our current folder or our folder of choice. So we will just run it like this. Then actually I don't want to be in this folder, so I won't do that there. So let me go ahead and exit. But the overall syntax is going to be get, and then it'll grab that file there. So let's go ahead and close this out and go to our next one. Since we don't have any user information, I really didn't include that to do that one. So let's go over to our next application, which is SMB Map. This is going to be similar to SMB Client. The only difference is we're going to need to specify with a capital H for the host, similar to the slide of the demo example slide from Metasploitable that was earlier. So here we're going to use SMB Map -H to specify the host, and here -H to specify the host, and -s to specify the share. So let's see what that looks like. We have SMB Map. Let's give it a shot. So we got SMB Map. There we go. Capital H. I said capital H. 10.02.15. And let's see what it has in it. Hang on. And there we are. So, again, this has a little bit more information from this field here. So again, no access because of $dollar bill, y'all, which is technically calling those broadcasts, but never mind that. Moving on. So this one does have read-only access, so we can put files. No, so we can grab files from it, but we can't put anything there. Now, let's see what's in that share by specifying the S, lowercase s, SVR. Hit enter there. Wait for it to do its working. And let's see. Doesn't really provide us with anything useful here. Let's see. Let's find that out. SMB Map. Okay. Now where was that? Here we go. Specify a share. Well, we did do that. I don't know if I spelled it incorrectly. No, I didn't spell it incorrectly. I spelled it correctly. Alright. Well, I ain't going to argue with that. Let's keep it pushing here with our next module, RPC Client. Now, this is going to be mainly used for Windows systems that to attack here, but it's best used if we already have login credentials. Since we don't, we're not going to really get that much information. Now, once we do have access to the system, we have some commands that we can use in order to enumerate said system. We have enum DOM users. This is going to enumerate the users. Enum DOM groups, which is going to enumerate the groups. Now, the DOM is the domain. So enumerate domain users, enumerate domain groups. It's yes, work group can be put in there, but it's just how I didn't write the damn thing. So we have query user, which is to get information about a user that we may or may not have access to. We can enumerate that user's privileges with enum privs, and we can gather password information similar to what we found in Enum for Linux with the get dom pw info switch there. Now let's see, without the password that we have, can we access this other Windows system? So we're going to RPC Client U and password, which we don't have, so we gonna skip it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this presentation. Thank you for following me on this amazing journey. Much appreciated. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe to be updated on future content. I am Shad Ronan, and I am AO.